We are live. Welcome back for day 3. If you've been here all week long, let me know in the comments. Put a number 3 in the comments. If you're here for day 3 and you've been here all 3 days, put a 3 in the comments. Let us know what city you're joining us from. We're going live right now on TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Oops. Let's go over to Instagram and go live. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for all your engagement. Let's see how well you do, how much you can, if you can outdo yesterday. Yesterday, there were 700 hearts in the chat. Thank you so much for joining me all week. We're just getting warmed up. When you get here, let me know where you are in the comments. Tonight, we're talking about 6 bank accounts every cosmetic nurse practitioner needs to know. This is where you put your money. Welcome back. Welcome back. All week long, we're talking about financial literacy for cosmetic nurse practitioner entrepreneurs. Hi, DJ. DJ Yelenin? Is that like a playoff of melanin? Let us know where you're joining us. Put your city in the comments. So if you remember, or who can tell me how much the average cosmetic NP spends in their first year, covering training, equipment, marketing, supplies, insurance? What do you remember me telling you? Hi, Jamel. Welcome. Have you been here all week? Do you remember how much the average cosmetic NP spends in their first year? If you remember, let us know in the comments. It was $100,000. It starts off with $2,000, and by the end of that first year, the average is $100,000. And while everyone is teaching us how to inject and operate lasers, no one is teaching us where to put our money. Type 1 in the chat if you've ever felt confused about where your money should go, and put a 2 in the chat if you already have your systems in place. So tonight we're going to talk about your 6 foundation accounts. This is your personal checking, business checking, savings account, high yields savings account, regular savings account, money market, and credit union. How many of these do you have? Let us know in the comments. This is where you put your money. And tomorrow we're going to cover advanced accounts on how you can make your money grow, including investment, retirement, brokerage, and more. That's tomorrow, probably around 5 p.m. Central. Every Thursday at 4 p.m., I teach a workshop for the Alliance Cosmetic Nurse Practitioners. And so right after that, we'll get started. We'll go live. There might be some barking in the back. Welcome, Leon. All right. So having the right account doesn't make you wealthy. Your relationship with money makes you wealthy. It's going to dictate everything you think about, all your decisions. That's exactly what we're going to talk about next week in the money workshop. Because you can have all these accounts set up perfectly, but if you're operating from this place of scarcity, which tends to start in childhood, if you're undercharging, if you don't understand the cash flow quadrant, you're still going to struggle. And if you can relate to that, put a yes in the comments. So we're not just building personal wealth. We're not even just building generational wealth. We're building dynastic wealth. Now, if you've ever heard of dynastic, put that in the comments. I know you've heard of generational wealth. Generational wealth, that's what gets passed down. Assets, businesses, property, and investments that a lot of people dream of giving to their children and their grandchildren. It's the difference between leaving your family money and leaving your family wealthy. Now, dynastic wealth goes a lot deeper, and I'm sure for many of you, this is the first time you're even hearing of this concept. All credit goes to Dr. LaTanya White, whose PhD thesis was built on this concept. I had the pleasure of meeting her last summer, 2024, at the Newecki Durbar Beauty and Wellness event in Hampton, Virginia, hosted by Eunice Kofi Obeng. So Dr. White, she is an Essence Magazine contributor, Essence Festival speaker, and founder of Dynastic Wealth, which is a research-based financial wellness firm. She equips athletes, employees, entrepreneurs like you guys and emerging leaders with culturally relevant financial wellness training. And it's going to help reduce our financial stress and help us improve our organizational outcomes. She talks all the time about moving from being the family ATM, where everyone comes to you for money, but you're stressed, overwhelmed, and constantly giving without a plan, to becoming the family architect. I know so many of you, especially if you're in medicine, you know what it's like to be the family ATM. Even if you're not an entrepreneur, even if you're just a traveler and you're getting access to money at a much rapid pace. Put traveler in the comments. Where are my travel nurses at? Now, what does it mean to be the family architect? This is someone who doesn't just leave money. They leave systems, structures, financial education, like we're talking about all week, wealth building skills. That gets passed down. That knowledge is going to last far longer than any money that you leave in there. I'm still trying to figure out what all these there's so many things popping up on the screen. I still don't even know what that means. But thank you for being here. Don't forget to put some hearts in the chat. We had 400 the first night, 700 last night. Let's see if we can outdo Tuesday. No thanks. But I appreciate the invitation. Okay, so dynastic wealth means that your great-great-grandchildren will benefit from the financial decisions you make. And it was, so like I said, I met her at the event by Eunice Kofi Obeng. She is the president and chief cosmetic chemist of Nuweki, which is an innovative skincare line for people of color. I'm going to tell you about Eunice because I'm always telling you about other ways, Jackie, that you can be in the cosmetic industry that have nothing to do with Botox and filler. Where does everyone get that is the only way to get into the industry? We did a whole Beyond the Needle series on the Mahogany Dermatology blog. I'm starting to talk to you about it on my YouTube channel. And tonight I get to tell you about Eunice. She's a World Economic Forum Young Global Leader. Forbes named her as one of the 20 youngest power women in Africa. She holds a Bachelor of Science in Chemistry and Molecular Biology from Florida A&M. That is an HBCU. Where's my FAMU graduates in the chat? She holds a Master of Science in Pharmaceutical Sciences with an emphasis on cosmetic science from the University of Cincinnati. And she completed the Harvard Kennedy School of Government Global Leadership and Public Policy Executive Education Program. And she told me her whole inspiration for cosmetic chemistry, or to get into like creating products, she was taking a class and the professor taught them how to make perms. And she has been hooked ever since. How many of you had that opportunity in your science classes? Don't forget to put a comment in the chat. Let us know what city you're joining us from. Leon, Miss Chimoye, let me know if I said your name wrong. Now, just recently, CEW, that's an international beauty industry organization with over 8,000 members, named Eunice as one of 31 women. That's a small number, shaping the future of beauty innovation, from chemistry and product development to design and technology. CEW supports, empowers, and advances women by providing the education, connections, and recognition necessary to elevate and advance careers. Because look, there's no such thing as self-made. You're never going to make it if there's no one else who knows what you're doing and who's supporting you. There's no such thing as self-made. If you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you take people with you. Eunice is building her own dynasty in the cosmetic and pharmaceutical industry, and these women are showing us what's possible. That's what we're doing inside the Alliance of Cosmetic Nurse Practitioners. We're leveraging our collective resources and expertise. We're elevating the expertise of nurses. We're showing that nurses not only are places where you can go get that capital, you don't have to go beg venture capitalists who don't understand what you're trying to do. You can go see a nurse who has $5,000 or $50,000, or they can go get it because the money's available. Not only can we be your investor, we're investable. We're masters of communications. We problem solvers. We have tons of human data that you're never going to find on the internet. So tonight, I'm not just teaching you how to make a paycheck. We're teaching you how to build a dynasty. And next week, we're going to give you a peek inside of the Alliance with our money workshop. That's going to be on December 16th, 19th, and the 21st. 3 live sessions, because you can only remember 30% of anything you ever hear. So you show up all 3 times. By the end of the week, you'll have it all down. And I'll be showing you, I love case studies. If you follow me anywhere on the internet, we use case studies for teaching. And next week, we're going to use alopecia as our case study and an example to show you how to make money, whether you're an employee, self-employed, a business owner, or an investor. If you want to register, DM me for the link. It's absolutely free because I want to see you guys succeed. And we all need this information. It's live, but if you register, you'll automatically get access to the replay. And it's going to change. It's going to change the way you think about money. I hope it changes the way you think about money. Now, if you were here yesterday, put a Tuesday in the chat. You know, we talked about the parallel between health literacy and financial literacy. I always love to show you how you already have this information. If you're a nurse or a nurse practitioner, you have tons of data. I tell you, it's all the time. It's like having a beautiful kitchen with a lot of groceries, but you don't know how to cook. But once we teach you how to cook, you can have a 5-star restaurant immediately. That's you. That's you becoming an entrepreneur. You can say you don't know anything, you don't have any experience, but that's absolutely false. It's just about showing you how to leverage what you already know to get where you want to be. Now, we understand that if our patient doesn't understand their diagnosis, they won't be able to follow the treatment plan, and they won't be able to make informed decisions about their care. And we're here to advocate and support our patients to make the best decision for them and their family. And we know that if they don't understand their condition, they're not going to be able to manage it effectively. That's just like you and me. Where are you right now when it comes to your financial literacy? Can you understand where your money should go? Can you organize your accounts? Can you make informed decisions about your own finances? If you're feeling confident about your money accounts, put a 1 in the comments. And put a 2 if you're still trying to figure it out. Every day, we're all still trying to figure it out. This is not a place to feel ashamed. This is a place to learn. And the best people who learn are the ones who ask questions. But it's not just any question, it's knowing how to ask very intentional questions so you get very intentional responses. Now, here's what I've learned after being in this industry since I was a freshman in high school. And the last 5 years, specifically, I've spent collecting data on dermatology and cosmetic nurse practitioner entrepreneurs. And here's what we're doing with our money. As soon as we decide to transition, we're starting with $2,000 investment in an entry-level Botox course. That might be a weekend course, an on-demand online training, or you might actually go back to academia and do something a little more formal. And then what happens after you ask that first question? You have more questions. Within the first 12 months, you're spending $100,000. Now, after you spend the first $2,000, you think it's going to get you a job. That's not going to get you a job because they're looking for 2 years of experience. So then you feel like, well, I've spent my money. I don't want it to go to waste. I'm tired where I am. And so you think the next best thing, and you're getting this advice, is to start your own business. So you might be going mobile or concierge, or maybe you're taking the leap and you're signing a lease. That lease could be anywhere from 1 year to 3 years, according to the group chat. Now you have more money going out than coming in. You feel like, okay, I've spent all this time learning about the patient, but I haven't learned anything about my business. Maybe if I buy this device, people will come to my business. That's how that $100,000 adds up so quickly. But there's no investment in marketing, in sales, consumer psychology, building teams, understanding communication, retention of those employees. And so within 2 to 3 years, people are talking about going bankrupt. They're selling all their equipment and they're shutting down. Sometimes they're abandoning the industry altogether. All those years and decades of accumulated knowledge, they're leaving it. Even though Amazon, Google, Microsoft, they're running in. You have all this information, all this data, and you're leaving it because you're tired of doing one thing, taking care of the patient. We went to patient care school. We think all we can do that anyone values us for is this thing that's burned us out. So we think we have to start all over. My friends, you don't have to start all over. It's just about pivoting, leveraging that expertise that you have. And sometimes you're going into another specialty. Still lacking business, sales, learning how to diversify your income, managing that diversified income, leveraging your expertise, multiple ways you can do that. And you're thinking because you take care of patients that your business has to take care of patients. That's not true. There's 4 types of people when we talk about making money. Employee, that's most of us. That's how most of us are raised, to be the employee looking to go to a good school, assuming it's going to get us a good degree, assuming that's going to get us a good job, and assuming that's going to give us a good check that's going to afford us a good life. All of you in the comments know right now, none of that's true at all. But that's the mindset, and that's the person that we're hiring. They're thinking, what can I get? We have never instilled in one another the value that we can contribute. We're so focused on the fact that we don't have business experience or we don't have aesthetic or dermatology experience. We're selling ourselves short before we ever even get interviewed. So we move from employee to self-employed. So instead of just taking care of the patient, now you're taking care of everything: marketing, sales, customer service, grievances, maintenance, hiring, firing, growing the business, establishing relationships. You're tired. There's only 24 hours in a day. And in both cases, whether you're employee or self-employed, you only make money when you're at work. The other side of the quadrant, that's our business owners, that's our investors. Those are those people who can actually step away and their business can still function. They can make money in their sleep. And my advice, figure out how to do something, master that thing, spend a couple years mastering it, and then teach other people how to do it. That's the real goal. When you can give someone the skills and the knowledge that changes the trajectory of their future, and not just their future, their family and their community, because now you've given them a foundation. That's what we're talking about tonight, foundations. Because at the end of the day, yeah, you might love the skin, and yes, you might really want to be in the business. But most of us, whether you're the employee, self-employed, business owner, or investor, we just want to put food on our table. We want to feel respected. Certainly, as nurse practitioners, we want to be compensated for all the loans that we have accumulated. We need to pay those back. We want to be granted PTO when we ask for it, experience professional fulfillment that we thought we signed up for. When that doesn't happen, the first place we might look is starting our own business, and the importance of diversifying your income and starting as soon as possible. You can start diversifying your income while they're still in the womb. Okay, so this is your job now if you're parents or you want to be parents. So let's get into these 6 accounts. We're going to do the foundation accounts tonight. Tomorrow we're going to do the advanced accounts for wealth building. Okay, we always want to think about where we're headed. What does that even look like? And that's why next week we're doing the whole money workshop. We're going to go deep in that cash flow quadrant because your relationship with money matters more than the accounts that you have. So we have an example. We have Dr. Aaliyah Thompson. She's a DNP prepared nurse practitioner. She has over a decade of experience. She's mastered a clinician, right? She's built a wonderful aesthetics and wellness practice, primarily serving skin of color patients. Like most of you, she's brilliant. She knows dermatology inside and out. She's fully booked. She's making money. She's doing more than breaking even. She might even be thinking about her next location. When she started out, though, she only had that one checking account. Her business income, personal expenses, taxes, tax savings, equipment purchases, it was all going into one account. She couldn't tell if her business was profitable. She couldn't tell you how much she owed in taxes. She couldn't tell you if she could afford to hire someone. She just knew that money was coming in, but she didn't know how much was going out. And at the end of the month, she was stressed. Type guilty in the chat if that sounds familiar. And we know she's not alone. Most cosmetic NP entrepreneurs start this way. The first thing she did was learn about financial literacy, just like you're doing tonight. And she set up the 6 foundational accounts that we're going to talk about, and it changed everything. So the first one is your personal checking account. This is for your personal life. This is your rent, groceries, utilities, gas, personal shopping, and dining out. This is not supposed to be for your business. This is the rule. Your business pays you a salary. That salary goes into your personal checking account. You live off that salary. Aaliyah was resistant at first. She said all her money was mine. Why does it matter which account it goes in? Well, this is why. Because when tax time comes, and taxes are always coming, she couldn't prove which expenses were the business ones and which ones were personal. And the IRS doesn't care that you know what was what. They want documentation. So if you have separate accounts, it equals clean documentation. All of you understand the value of documentation. That's our bread and butter in nursing. So your personal checking account, that's for your life. Your business checking account, that's for your business. And sometimes you actually get more rewards. Type 1 in the chat if you have a separate personal checking account. Type 2 if you're mixing everything. If you type 2, that's going to be your first action step tonight. Open a personal checking account if you don't already have one. I started my first one at 16. I'm still with them. They've changed their name multiple times. And there's quite a few accounts where you can start for your children. And you can be on that account with them. My mom was on that account with me for a long, long time. And it makes it really easy to not only talk about financial literacy and oversee their management of their money, but learn together. A lot of banks offer free education. We're always complaining about how expensive everything is. There's free education out here. All of these institutions offer online, on-demand education, and take advantage of it. So that was your personal checking account. Let's look at your business checking account. This is where all your business income goes. So these are going to be payments from your patients, product sales, consultation fees, you name it. This is also where all your business expenses should come from. So this is your rent, supplies, insurance, your marketing, pay, which is going to be a big expense, payroll, continuing education comes from out of here, and even professional coaching, which is there to support you as a business professional. Business in, business out. When Aaliyah separated her accounts, she could finally see, is my business profitable? Before she had this system in place, she thought she was doing really well because she just kept seeing money coming in, but she couldn't see that her expenses were eating up 80% of her revenue. Once she had a separate business checking account, she ran the numbers. So her revenue was 150K. Her expenses were 120. So let me know in the comments what was her net. We talked about net yesterday. Okay? Give you 3 seconds. It was 30K. That's a 20% profit margin. She thought she was crushing it, and turns out she wasn't even breaking even. Type profit in the chat if you know your profit margin right now. So let's look at what profit margin even means when we talk about different industries, because it does vary. Depending on your industry, the profit margin is relative. So when we look at our retail and product-based businesses, anywhere from 5 to 20% is considered normal. If you have a service-based business, that's us. Dermatology consults, coaching, consulting, that's anywhere from 15 to 40% net. That's a really good expectation. Software or digital product is your whole tech industry. They're even more, 40 to 70%. This is a lot of the time because there's no overhead. They don't really need a brick and mortar. And then restaurants and hospitality, that's on the lower end, 3 to 10% because of the high cost, but that's an average to expect. So for you, if you decide to get into dermatology education, business, selling online courses or subscriptions, you could target around 30 to 50% net margin once you scale because your product delivery cost is low after creation. Now, if you didn't type profit, you need a business checking account so you can track all this. You can't manage what you can't measure. So the next one is our savings account. Hi, Sydney, Nike. Thanks for joining me. Let me know in the comments what city you're joining us from. So your savings account, this is your emergency fund. Aaliyah didn't have one when I first met her. And then her laser broke and it cost $3,000 to repair it. She put it on her credit card because she didn't have that emergency fund for her business in particular. And by the time everything was all said and done, she ended up paying $3,500 for it because there was interest. If she'd had a savings account with an emergency fund, she could have paid that off without the extra interest. So you might hear on average, how much should you save for an emergency? Most people will tell you 3 to 6 months. Other people will tell you 12 to 18 months. And that's a really nice cushion if you can get there. For Aaliyah, her monthly expenses, including personal and business, were about $10,000 a month. So her emergency fund goal was $30,000 to $60,000. She didn't have that overnight, but she started putting $1,000 a month into her savings account. And within just 2.5 years, she had that $30,000. It adds up. Type 1 in the chat if you have a savings account. Type 2 if you don't. If you type 2, guess what? Guess what I want you to do, Keisha Flowers? If you type 2, I want you to open a savings account and start putting something, literally anything in there every month. If you automate it, you don't have to worry about thinking about it. Your emotions don't get involved, and you're helping set your future self up for success. Even if it's $100 a month, that's $1,200 a year. That's better than nothing, especially if you have no plan right now. Now let's move to your high yield savings account. So this is where the story gets interesting. So Aaliyah, remember I told you she built up that emergency fund. She had $30,000 sitting in a regular savings account. What's wrong with that? Well, the interest rate, that's what's wrong with it. It was 0.01%. That was only $3 a year on that $30,000. That's nothing. I told her to move to a high yield savings account, and I'm telling you to do the same thing if you can relate to Aaliyah's story. So a high yield savings account is just a savings account that pays you more interest. And right now, a high yield savings account, it's always going to be fluctuating based on the market, but anywhere to 4 to 5% interest. if she moved that 30,000 to a high yield savings account that's about 4.5%, she'd make $1,350 in a year. That was compared to the $3, and she did literally nothing but sit it and forget it. Same money, different account. Type 1, if you're familiar with high yield savings account, and type 2, if this is all new for you, like all these comments popping up on the screen over here. Hi, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. I think that's everybody. So let's see. So the best high yield savings account might offer anywhere between 4 to 5%. Recent estimates put the average around 3.8.4%. By contrast, your standard savings account, that's that regular bank account, is down to 0.2.4%, just like Aaliyah. Now, I looked at Investopedia. This is one of a credible resource that I want to recommend to you if you're looking for a place where you can start learning. Investopedia. They said that the top high yield savings account can get up to that 5%. This is compared to your big banks, which is 0.01%. So if you're in a competitive high yield savings account, you can expect that 4 to 5%. That's considered a strong return, which is way, way better than your savings account. And these are usually your online banks: Ally, Marcus by Goldman Sachs, American Express, Personal Savings. These are FDI insured, just like your regular banks. But they pay you more because they don't have that overhead. It's the same like your business. It's the same as that tech example that I gave you. So you're more familiar with this than you think. So what did Aaliyah do? Well, obviously she moved her emergency fund to that high yield savings account, and now her money was working for her. Finally, you're not the only one doing all the work. Now, if you have a savings account, check your interest rate. If it's below 4%, do a little bit of research, find out what it is right now as you're watching this, because things can change. If you can find one that's better than what you're getting, consider moving that money. Okay, we're down to the last two. Money market account. This is similar to your high yield savings account, but there are a few differences. If you haven't started taking notes, this is the time. So money market accounts typically require a higher minimum balance, anywhere from $10,000 to $25,000. They tend to pay higher interest rates. Sometimes they even come with an opportunity for you to write checks, if anyone still does that. Aaliyah uses her money market account for her business reserves. So what does that even mean? Well, just like we know in the group chat, we know business has been slow when it comes to NP entrepreneurs who own their own practice, particularly in cosmetics. So she knows that December or January tend to be slower because people are spending all their money on holidays and travel, not Botox. So during her busy months, March to November, she puts extra money into her money market account. By the time December rolls around, she has $20,000 sitting there earning 5% interest. That $20,000 covers her slow months. While it's sitting there waiting to be used, it's making $1,000 a year without even having to convince someone that they need Botox. Now, type 1, if you've thought about seasonal cash flow in your business, and type 2, if this is new for you. Now, money market accounts are great for business owners who need liquidity, but also want to earn interest. That means it's easily accessible. You can access the money when you need it, but it's earning more than a regular checking account while it waits. And unlike your stock market, which you might be on the fence about and definitely can go up and down, you don't have to worry about shifts in the market and your money tanking. Okay, this is the last one. This is credit unions. I love credit accounts. Credit union account. They helped me get my first car. Okay, so this one's optional, but I want you to know that it exists. Credit unions are member-owned, not-for-profit financial institutions, and they typically offer lower fees than big banks. Sometimes you do have to pay a fee when you put your money in a certain account. Make sure you read the fine print. They offer better customer service, and they're really invested in their community. And so if you ever need a loan for your business, they're more likely to give you that loan than someone outside of your community or someone who's more national. Now, Leah joined a local credit union because they offered her a business loan at a much lower interest rate than traditional banks. When she needed $15,000 to expand her practice, they approved her loan at 5% interest. The big bank that she had been using wanted 8%. That 3% difference saved her thousands of dollars over the lifetime of the loan. If you're a member of a credit union like me, type a 1 in the chat and type a 2 if you haven't even thought about it. Now, if you're looking for financing, community support, or you're just tired of big bank fees, a credit union might be worth exploring. And you can simply just go in there and talk to them and get to know them, just like you want your clients to come in and do a consultation. They'd love to educate you on what they can offer you once they learn about what your goals are and more about your business, which, if you are a cosmetic nurse practitioner entrepreneur, they might not be that familiar with. So just like our patients, you're going to go in there and do some education. That's it. And build those relationships. Maybe you don't need them now. Maybe it's not a good, maybe what they have to offer doesn't fit where you are. But in 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, you can walk back in there and pick up where you left off. It's like our patients want them to have that primary care provider. So when things go south, they have an established relationship. It's literally the same thing. So let's go over these 6 foundational accounts, right? That's your personal checking, business checking, savings account, high yield savings account, money market, and credit union. This is where you put your money. Tomorrow, we're going to be covering how you make your money grow. That's your investments, retirement, brokerage accounts, and more. Probably around this time tomorrow, 5 p.m. Central. But here's the thing before you go, right? Having the right accounts, it doesn't make you wealthy. Your relationship with money, it's all about mindset. You hear people talk about mindset all the time because it matters. That's what we're going to address in the money workshop next week. Because you can have all these accounts set up perfectly. You can be getting the highest interest rate. But if you're operating from a place of scarcity, undercharging, you don't understand the cash flow quadrant, you're going to still struggle and wonder why. That workshop will be taught on the 16th, 19th, and 21st, 3 sessions, because you only remember 30% of what you hear. So if you attend all 3 or your schedule changes, then by the end of the week, you'll either know everything or you won't have to worry about missing out on an opportunity. Pick a time that works best for you. As long as you register, you'll get access to the replay. And those who show up live will get a free workbook on your making your money work for you. So you don't have to write any notes or take any of this down. You can join us while you're charting, while you're driving, while you're doing all the other things to have a full-time life, build your business, and take care of your family and yourself, maybe while you're working out. We're going to be using alopecia as our case study to show you how to make money as an employee, self-employed, business owner, or investor. DM me if you want the link to register. It's totally free. I will be doing it live. Live is the best way to do it. Whether you want to go on social media or you want to build your community, live is it's the best way to engage. Look at you guys. I get to see you. Misty, man of God, thank you for being here. So your action steps tonight, right? I've been telling you different things to do. If you don't have a personal checking account separate from your business, open one this week. If you don't have a savings account, open one. Put $100 in it. Start somewhere. Give yourself grace, right? Don't worry about what you haven't done yet. Don't worry about what you didn't learn. You're learning it right now. You have the opportunity to apply what you're learning right now. If you have a savings account and it's earning less than 4%, what do we want you to do? Move it to that high yield savings account. Holidays are coming up. Many of you are going to be taking PTO or going on vacation. I love using PTO to change the trajectory of my future. I was just chatting with Janine Huff on the Melanin Initiative podcast. We were talking about high achieving women and burnout. And that's one thing we talked about was how to use your PTO intentionally. It doesn't only have to be on vacation or on a beach. You can literally be at your house and change your future during that break. You can be on a beach and also change your future, but it comes down to being intentional. Register for the workshop by DMing, and I will email you that link. And I'll be back tomorrow around this time covering the 6 accounts that you need for wealth building. Thank you all for being here. Day 3. If you've been here for all 3 days, put a 3 in the comments. Thank you, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. I thank you all for being here. And let me just check these. Oh, look at you guys. Oh my gosh. You guys, these names, I can't get all these names, but I can do keys and milk. I'm live right now. I'm talking to you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, okay. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow.